Hello, welcome. This is the first lesson in Unit 10, and it is on 10.1. It's the average rate of change. The average rate of change between two input values is the total change of the function values, or the output values, divided by the change in the input values. So in this first example, they asked us to find the average rate of change for this function below using the specified variable. So example 1, we've got f of x is equal to 3x squared minus x plus 5. And it's over the interval from -1 to 3. Notice the brackets there. So this is what's called interval notation. So with -1 is on one end of that interval and 3 is on the other end. And so we need to find the values at each end. F of -1. To find out what that value is, we just put it in for x. So I put 3, and then where there's x squared, I put -1 squared minus, and then x is -1 plus 5. And then we evaluate. -1 squared and negative times the negative is positive, so that's 1. 3 times 1 is 3. And subtracting -1 is the same as adding 1, so that's plus 1. And then we have plus 5. And so 3 plus 1 plus 5 is equal to 9. And then f of 3, we do the same thing. But over here, we get 3 parentheses 3 squared minus 3 plus 5. 3 squared is 9 times 3 would be 27 minus 3 plus 5. 27 minus 3 would be 24, and 24 plus 5 is 29. So now that we have if they're like the y values, if you will, it says to get the y values that go with the given x values, type the function in y equals, then push second graph table. It will give you a table of values for the function, and this is referring to if you want to do it on a calculator, and I'll show you that in just a moment. It says now use the 2 points that you have created to find the slope m of the 2 points. So the slope, m, is the variable we often use to talk about slope. And so we say 29 minus 9. And the y2 and y1, x2 and x1 refer to the point. So if I say this is the second point, x2, y2, x2 is 3 and y2 is 29. And over here, x1, y1, x1 is -1 and y1 is 9. And so we've taken 29 minus 9, and now we're going to take 3 minus -1. 29 minus 9 is 20, and subtracting -1 makes it +1, so 3 plus 1 is 4, and so 20 divided by 4 is 5. So the average rate of change, which is the same as the slope, is 5. Alright, let me show you how we would do this on a graphing calculator. So we get our graphing calculator out here, we hit this button y equals, and we would enter in the equation, or the function that we have. So we've got 3x squared minus x plus 5. And we're looking for the interval from -1 to 3. So hit second function graph for the tables. And at 3, we get 29. If we want to change the settings, we go to second function window where it says table set. And we can make the table start at, since we've got a -1 is the one side, we just put -1 as our set. Hit enter. Second function graph. And then it's given us -1, 9, and 3, 29, which we found just by hand. Let's look at another example. So on this example, it says complete the table below, then find the average rate of change for the intervals given below. And just like before, we could do this by hand, just putting -2 in for x and evaluating that all the way down, -1, 0, 1, 2, etc. We can also use a calculator, so let's try that with the calculator. We go back to y equals, hit clear to clear that out, and we just put in 3x squared. And then we're going to hit second function. Oh, we're going to go to table set and change the value, the starting value to -2. So we put -2, enter. And then we're going to go to second function table, oops, not the graph. Second function graph. And -2 is 12. 3 and 0. $12, 3, and 0. And then we have 3, 12, 27. And then at 4, the value is 48. So now we're going to take the interval from -2 to 0. And that's from those points, and we're looking at the endpoints. And so we take 0 minus 12, that's the y values, and 0 minus -2, and those are the x values. And we just simplify this. 0 minus 12 is -12, and subtracting -2 is the same as adding 2, so 0 plus 2 would just be 2. And -12 divided by 2, and negative divided by positive is negative, so we have -6. Let's look at the next one. From 1 to 4. And so that interval right here takes us from 48 minus 3 and 4 minus 1. So 48 minus 3 would be 45, and 4 minus 1 would be 3, and 45 divided by 3 is 15, so the average rate of change is 15, which means that it runs 1 and rises 15. That average change of -6 means that it drops 6 as it runs 1 to the right. And then we've got 2 from 2 to 3. So from 2 to 3, and that's this interval right here. And so from 2 to 3, we've got 27 minus 12. And 3 minus 2. 27 minus 12 is 15. And 3 minus 2 is 1. 15 over 1 is 15. So those are the average rates of change over those intervals. If we look at example 3, here they're asking us to work from a graph to find out what are the values of y that correspond to different values of x. So f of negative 4, if I go over here and look at negative 4, here's negative 1, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Looks like I'm up to 2. And so f of negative 4 is 2. If I go to f of negative 3, negative 3, I'm down here to, looks like negative 3. F of negative 2, I gotta go all the way down here to negative 6. And f of 1, I'm at negative 3. And f of 2, I'm at 2. So then, using that information, it says find the average rate of change for the intervals given below, from negative 4 to negative 2. So at negative 2 is negative 6. So I'm going to write negative 2, oops, not comma, negative 2, which is negative 6, minus negative 4. At negative 4 we're at 2, so it's minus 2. And then we subtract their corresponding y values. I'm sorry, x values. So negative 2 was at negative 6, so we're actually just take negative 2 and subtract negative 4. So negative 6 minus 2 is negative 8, and negative 2 plus 4 would be positive 2, and negative 8 divided by 2 would be negative 4. The interval negative 3, 1, negative 3, we're at negative 3, and at 1 we're at negative 3 also, so there's negative 3, negative 3, minus negative 3, and that's over the interval 1 minus negative 3. So negative 3 minus a negative 3, that's the same as negative 3 plus 3, which is 0, over 1 plus 1 minus negative 3, again plus 3, that's 4. 0 divided by 4 is 0. And so the average rate of change between those 2 points would be 0. Make sure that you're showing, oh, we have one left to do here. Negative 2, 2. So at -2, we're at -6. Wait, at 2, we're at 2, sorry. Minus, at -2, we're -6, so minus -6. And we take 2 minus -2. And so 2 minus -6, that's +6. 2 plus 6 is 8. And 2 minus -2, that's +2, so 2 plus 2 is 4. And 8 divided by 4 would be 2. And so the average rate of change there would be 2. As you're working on your problems here, make sure you show your work. If you do feel like you're getting lost and need some help, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Here's my number. It's 801-413-3363. Call me and we can meet on Zoom or something similar, and I can show you my screen as we work through, just like I have been here. Have a good day. Good luck.